You know that feeling, right? The sort of constant hum of tasks running in the background of your mind. Those endless mental checklists that, well, no one else seems to see. You're moving, making things happen, keeping the wheels turning. But it's like this invisible force, essential but utterly unnoticed. Maybe you're prepping for a big meeting, but like simultaneously wondering what's for dinner. Or you're catching up on emails while remembering it's your turn to organize the neighborhood block party. Does any of that sound familiar to you? Well, today we are pulling back the curtain on exactly that, invisible labor.
Hmm. This deep dive is all about illuminating the often unseen but incredibly significant work that underpins so much of our daily lives.
That's precisely it. We're here to unpack that. The research defines invisible labor as the unseen tasks and responsibilities involved in managing a household and family.
Yeah.
It's generally not recognized as work in the, traditional sense, but it absolutely demands significant time, energy, and just a massive amount of emotional investment. It really is that constant background hum you just described. And it's so insidious, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just the doing. Take buying groceries, for example.
Mm-hmm.
What we've seen highlighted is the intense cognitive labor involved. It's the meal planning.
Right.
It's knowing what's in the fridge versus what needs to be bought to make those meals. It's figuring out how long grocery shopping actually takes and where it fits into the family schedule. Then you're deciding what night to make which meal and what time dinner needs to be started so it's actually ready on time. It cascades, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Yeah. And the core issue, as pointed out in our various materials, is that this labor is often unnoticed.
Mm.
And because it doesn't come with a paycheck, it naturally receives, well, little recognition or appreciation. And what's crucial, really crucial from the data we've looked at, is just how much of this labor overwhelmingly falls on women.
Yeah, that's a key point. So our mission for this deep dive is clear.
Mm.
We're going to unpack that definition, explore exactly where invisible labor shows up in our lives, and, most importantly, examine its significant, often overlooked impact on mental health, particularly for women. We're drawing on some really important insights from public health resources like Arizona Powell and broader health discussions we've seen in places like Optum.
Mm.
Okay, so let's get right into the profound consequences of this invisible labor because this is where we start to see the hidden toll it takes on our well-being.
Exactly. And the first major impact that consistently surfaces in the research is burnout. Just plain burnout. When you're constantly juggling multiple responsibilities, think arranging playdates, tackling that never-ending pile of dishes, scheduling appointments, wading through school emails, managing the family calendar, even stepping in to solve sibling squabbles. All of this constant juggling can lead directly to profound feelings of exhaustion and hopelessness. It's an unending mental and emotional load that just drains you.
Hmm. And it's not just the sheer volume of tasks that wears you down. There's another really insidious element, the lack of acknowledgement. I mean, imagine putting in hours of work every single day and it goes completely unrecognized. What we see is this creates a profound sense of isolation and invisibility.
Yeah.
It's like you're performing on a stage no one's watching.
Yeah.
And that feeling, that lack of validation, it naturally curdles into irritability and resentment, sort of quietly chipping away at even the strongest relationships. It's a vicious cycle that makes you question if your contributions even matter.
Absolutely. It eats away at things. And another significant challenge highlighted in our materials is the imbalance in work-life balance. Individuals shouldering a disproportionate amount of invisible labor frequently struggle to balance work, family, and personal interests. And here's the truly sobering part.
Hmm.
The sacrifice that is made is most often personal interests, things that bring joy, creativity, and levity to life.
Like fun stuff.
Exactly. This isn't just about feeling busy. It's about losing parts of yourself, the parts that make you uniquely you.
And when you're constantly consumed by this invisible labor, what's the immediate casualty? Your time for self-care. There's simply less time for activities that promote mental health, like getting in a workout or diving into a beloved hobby, genuinely connecting with friends, getting lost in a good book, or even just meditating for a few minutes. These are the crucial things that recharge us, that keep us whole.
Yeah, and it's really important to highlight a powerful distinction that emerges from the research here. Taking a shower or grocery shopping by yourself is not self-care time.
Oh, that's a great point.
It really challenges a very common misconception many people hold. It underscores that true self-care is about replenishment, not just basic existence or managing logistics.
Which brings us neatly to the significant factor of increased pressure and expectations. Societal expectations, as laid out in the resources we looked at, often place a heavy burden on women to be the primary caretakers and homemakers. It's not just an assumption. It's kind of woven into the fabric of our culture, isn't it?
It really is. And there's specific evidence for this pressure. We see significant social expectations on how a house should be run and should look, and the burden for meeting these standards often falls squarely on women. In fact, studies support this, showing that a messy home is judged more harshly when the owner is identified as a woman compared to a man.
Wow.
It's a definite double standard that creates immense, often unspoken pressure.
And if that weren't enough, think about the pervasive influence of social media. God, yeah. We're constantly viewing these curated and perfect versions of lives. Everyone's kitchen is spotless, right?
Right.
This constant stream of seemingly flawless existences can contribute to anxiety and low self-esteem, making that relentless comparison even harder to escape.
Mhm. Ultimately, the insights from our various sources emphasize that reducing the burden of invisible labor requires a collective effort. It needs us to redistribute responsibilities, to acknowledge the work being done, and to create a more balanced approach to household and family tasks. It's not a problem for one person to solve alone, or even just one gender. It really needs a societal shift.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, the central insight seems abundantly clear. Invisible labor is real, it's extensive, and largely unrecognized. And what's truly profound is its significant mental health implications, particularly, as we've seen, for women.
Yeah, it truly underscores the importance of not just making this unseen work visible, but actively working towards its redistribution. For the overall well-being of everyone involved, it's about valuing all contributions, not just the ones that come with a title or a paycheck.
Absolutely. And as you, our listener, go about your day, maybe ponder this. Given the deep societal expectations we've just discussed and the overwhelming influence of the curated, perfect images we consume daily, how do we, as individuals and as a society, begin to challenge and dismantle these ingrained expectations surrounding invisible labor? How might truly acknowledging and valuing this unseen work transform not just individual well-being, but maybe our collective understanding of worth and contribution in our homes and communities? Something to think about.